Hi there. Welcome back to GC 365. We are actually on day 200. So if you have been consistent, then huge congratulations to you. Today is July 19th reading. There's a lot of great content. My name is Stacy Philpott, and I'm the family pastor here at Gold Creek.
And I'm Krista Jardine, and I'm the database administrator.
And we have been doing ministry together for many years. I don't even remember how many.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I think at least 12. But we've also become good friends over the years, and we have kids at similar ages. And so there's been many times that we've gone to each other like, oh my gosh, this is what I'm dealing with right now. And then I swear the next month it would be you like, okay, guess what I'm dealing with. And so we've been able to kind of tag team on some of these issues.
It's been really great.
It's been very helpful. Day 200. Wow. I mean, we only have then 165 left.
Yeah.
That's amazing. We're more than halfway through.
Well, and today's an exciting day because we have our high school ministry team is leaving for Mexico today. We've got 20 students and 11 leaders headed out on that trip to Puerto Vallarta. So exciting day.
That is exciting. And you are a part of that team.
I am. I actually will be down there. This will be my third trip.
Wow. Last year, the team was not able to go because of COVID. And I know that all of the families, the moms and the kids, they are so excited to see all of you. So I'm anxious to hear how it goes. Yeah. All right. Jumping into our reading, we kick it off in Chronicles chapter 28. And this is where David is talking about preparing for the temple that was going to be built. And he had this vision for it. The Lord had told him about it. And he really was anticipating building this. And then eventually he was told, nope, you don't get to be the one to do this, but your son will be. David was still very disciplined in preparing for it and getting the materials. But it made me think personally on my own life of maybe some goals that I've had in my life that I didn't, not that I'm done, not that I can't still achieve many of them, but because of maybe consequences and choices of my life and sin that I've had, I didn't get to experience some things, but I've seen my kids experience them because of their obedience. And that has been rewarding to see.
This takes me to, I feel like I've been called to ministry, but in so many things, Satan steps in or sin steps in, and I just start doubting myself. Yeah. And, the end of verse 10 says, be strong and do the work. And it just is a little reminder there of, if we followed God's plan, he really helps us get through the situations and the things that we're called to do.
Well, you were saying when we were talking about earlier as well, that not only is he with us, but that the hindsight of it, that you can look back and realize, okay, wait, he was with me. He did help me through that. And others came to know God through you, even though you were feeling like, I'm not worthy. How in the world is he going to use me? And then seeing the difference afterwards that you've made.
Yeah.
First Chronicles 29, you had some great observation.
So this was a big one for me. So in verses 4 and 5, it talks about, who was it? I'm sorry. It says, I am donating more than 112 tons of gold from Ophir and 262 tons of refined silver to be used for overlaying the walls of the buildings and for the other gold and silver work to be done by the craftsmen. Now then, who will follow my example and give offerings to the Lord today? Now, this takes me back. A couple months ago, we did the God Can pledge drive. And I've always been so amazed and so honored that Pastor Dan is the first one to give to any of those kind of giving campaigns. And he will step up and he will tell us how much he's giving and just is open about it. Mm-hmm. And so he's not just asking the congregation or, people that attend Gold Creek to give. He's actually being a leader and stepping up and giving first and then saying, hey, who's with me? And I've just loved that. And I love being a part of a staff that is so caring and so giving. So
he wouldn't ask us, honestly, Jesus he's taking it from Jesus's example of leadership, that Jesus never asked his disciples to do anything that he himself was not willing to do. And we see that from Pastor Dan in giving. And so this was David talking about all the preparations for the temple and what he was giving. And not only does Pastor Dan give to just Mill Creek campus where he leads and speaks, but also he's been very generous for the building of the Woodinville campus and the upcoming Lake Stevens campus. We see the trickle down. And yeah, I agree. It is an honor to be a part
Cuba
of that.
and Mexico. And
yes, a ton of places. Our New Testament reading is Romans 5. At the beginning, 5:6, it says, Christ came at just the right time. And I thought that is what I have experienced in my own life as well, whether it's a time of need or a time of brokenness and sorrow, even times of praise and happiness, that he always shows up at just the right time. And he is so faithful in spite of who we are, as I was sharing with you earlier, and you were there that day. But when my daughter Haley got married, she was so honorable through all of it, and waiting for just the right person and waiting for marriage. And she just represented Christ so beautifully through that. And that day it was actually calling for rain. And it was such a beautiful day, especially during the ceremony. And I remember standing there with my dad before everything got started. And we were both very teary, just looking at all that we were celebrating. And I said, he is so faithful in spite of who we are. And it's like the sun had showed up just at the right time. I loved it. It was amazing. What about you from Romans?
That was a great date. So there was a Bible study that I did recently that kind of tied to verses 15 through 17, and just talking about Adam and Jesus dying on the cross and all of that. And so that was a highlight.
Mm-hmm. Oh, good old Adam bringing sin into the world. Our Psalms is Psalms 15, and I just had written #goals because it talks about, I think he's saying, who may worship in your sanctuary, Lord, and who may enter your presence on your holy hill. And it's saying those with blameless lives, those that are truth tellers, those that refuse to gossip, those that don't speak evil of their friends, those that keep promises, even when it hurts. And I'm like, oh my goodness, those are all of the things that I want to do better at. That kind of is in my mind has been my phrase this year, is do better. But I continue to, fall down. But then I feel like God's like, get back up again. You can do better this next time. And you and I both talked about, you had highlighted as well, keep our promises even when it hurts. And you had a great example of that.
Well, I know that I make promises to a lot of people, and I feel like it's my family that takes the brunt of me not following through on those promises. And, I hate to admit it, but I'm a people pleaser. And so I will do whatever I can to help and do anything for anybody. But unfortunately, it's my family that those promises get broken because I get tired, or I just, feel overwhelmed or have too much on my plate. And so rather than letting coworkers or friends or extended family down, I tend to,
it's
my
easy.
Immediate family gets the brunt of, sorry guys, we're not going to do this today, or sorry, this isn't going to happen.
Yeah. Well, and then I was sharing with you that when I think about the promises of marriage, where we literally stand before God and our friends and family and make these promises to the one that we love, the one that we intend on spending the rest of our life on earth with. And how many times I have broken the promises of being kind in good times or bad, or taking care of him in sickness and health. And I would have been a horrible Florence Nightingale, because I don't have a whole lot of patience when my husband or even my kids are sick. I'm kind of like, okay, we'll just go get better.
Here's a blanket.
Totally. I need to get better because I do care about them so much. But especially if my husband has hurt my feelings, I want to retaliate. I want to hurt him back. I want to be unkind, and that's not what I promised. And that's when it's hard.
It is hard.
Proverbs 19, discipline your children while there is hope. Otherwise, you will ruin their lives. And I underlined there because, like we were saying, it's so easy to think that, oh, if we don't raise them up right, it does hurt. It's heartbreaking as a parent.
Yeah.
But that we will ruin their life as they grow up and get older and have their own family if we don't have boundaries for them and teach them right and wrong and the truth, honestly, of God's word.
Yeah. So I highlighted that same verse and it just resonated with me because as a young adult, I had found a poem about mean moms, and it went on and on and on about all the different ways that moms have, disciplined their children when they're young and then teenage years and all of that. And there were so many things that I could relate to that, my mom had given me a curfew and, different things. And looking back, it was like, oh yeah, I'm so glad she
I'm glad
set
she was
those
a mean
boundaries.
mom.
Yeah, exactly. I told my mom, thank you for being a mean mom, because those boundaries and those things, they're not meant to hurt us.
Right.
As, children and young adults or teenagers or whatever, they're there to help us. They're there to help us grow. They're there to keep us safe. They're there to help us build relationships. And
absolutely,
hindsight is always 2020, and it makes it so much easier to look back and go, oh yeah, there's a reason why she did that. But
I remember talking one time in the Kids Zone years ago, we were talking about the 10 Commandments, and that is the same with God's laws for us, that he wants us to have joy and fun. He is not this, no, you can't do that. No, you can't do that. It is all so that we have good fun and without harm and without as much brokenness as we can, with these parameters of these 10 rules. And yet we still seem to not always do great following those either.
Exactly.
And he's certainly not a mean God either.
No.
So, all right. Well, thank you so much for joining us again. And if you happen to just be starting with us, what a great time to start. Day 200. You can finish with us throughout the year and just join on the YouVersion Bible app. Keep following us on Facebook, YouTube, and I think, we're still preaching about it as well. So on Sunday mornings. So stay with it.
Good job, guys.